So why can't you get a job, like work a normal job?
Because I can't get a CV because I've got nowhere to do a CV from. It's my age. I'm too old.
Oh, but you're just 43.
I'm 42 years old, but at YMCA places like that for young people. So you can get in self-address from there, but not when you're my age.
Oh, okay,
So
buddy.
I can go and get breakfast in the morning, but then I'm back on my own again.
Oh, sorry to hear that. So I'm going to give you something. I hope it helps you.
I was made redundant in May and I've been unemployed for 3 weeks. I've applied for nearly 150 jobs. I've had a few interviews, but nothing seems to be going anywhere. I'm doing all the right things, waking up, applying for jobs, checking my emails. It just feels like I'm stuck in a constant loop and there's no way out of it. I'm trying to break up the day, going for walks, going to charity shops, reading some books in the sun. Just taking it one day at a time and hopefully something that's right for me will come up along the way.
Clock it. There's no reward for getting a nursing degree in this country. Like, I thought it was meant to be like, yeah, guaranteed job, decent salary. As you said, there's no jobs and now there's no placements. So what is there? What is there at this point? Like, this is a country with so much, oh, we got nursing shortage. Okay, but there's no means to train people. It's ridiculous. And I think they should tell people these before we go and sign up and take big loans out to go and do this thinking we're guaranteed something and we're guaranteed nothing. Like, I'm so mad. I don't know what to do, who to call.
Look, I'm sorry for bringing you bad news all the time, but the UK has had another negative data point. If you've been out of a job for a while, this is probably the reason. The UK has pretty much had 8 months straight of negative payrolls data. And unemployment has gone above expectations to 4.7%. Expected was 4.6%. I see on LinkedIn at the moment people saying they've been out of a job for literally months. Well, the government's set up for employers not to be hiring. Employers' national insurance contributions has been the biggest component of this, in my view. You can see the acceleration since April when it was introduced. This increase has increased the burden of cost for employers to hire people on PAYE. Now, if you run a comparison of the United States payrolls, the last time they had a negative print was December 2020. That's nearly 5 years ago. And this is while their growth has been pretty good over that period. Actually, it's been very, very good over that period. And then there's us with all the other problems associated with the UK at the moment. There is very, very little thing to be positive about at the moment with this country.
Right then, hello there. Welcome back to Blighty Blighted, the channel where we tell it like it is about our beloved but increasingly beleaguered Britain. Now, I've been getting emails from people all across the country, and I have to say, what I'm hearing about the job market in 2025 is absolutely shocking. Shocking. These youngsters today, university degrees, proper qualifications, and they're applying for hundreds of jobs. Hundreds. And getting nowhere. 0-hour contracts, gig economy nonsense, wages that wouldn't have bought you a decent meal when I was their age, adjusted for inflation naturally. It's a disgrace. An absolute disgrace to what this country once stood for. My grandson, bright lad, engineering degree. He's been looking for 8 months now. 8 months. Living back home with his mum because he can't afford rent on the part-time work he's scraping together. This isn't the Britain I knew. This isn't the Britain we built. Something's got to give, and it's got to give soon.
Why are there no jobs out there? And why, when you do apply for a job, do people just ignore you and never ever get back to you? It's rude. Never used to be that way. But yeah, it's funny because I'm one of these people that's like, I really, really need alone time. I can't stand being sociable all the time. It pushes me over the edge. But it's also the opposite is true. I cannot spend too much time alone being bored. Oh my god, how do people be unemployed and like be okay with it? Because I'm going to have a breakdown if I don't find something, some kind of job, some kind of work to do. Preferably I want to do online training, personal training. I'd happily work in a gym too, but thanks to me losing my job, I can't actually afford rent for a gym right now, so I would be essentially starting my entire business from scratch on the gym floor, and I'm just not in a position to do that. So yeah, I feel like online training, if anyone wants any personal training, online training, send me a message, because I am at a loss right now. But I mean, I'm happy to go work in Tesco's in the meantime, you know? I'm happy to go and do some cleaning or something, but there's nothing. And when you do find something, they never, ever get back to you. But yeah, in the moments I'm actually able to pry myself away from my phone and Indeed, because I have a serious problem with Indeed. I cannot stop looking at it. But yeah, it gets to a point where it's not good for my mental health, checking it 5,000 times a day. So I'm trying to meditate and read Joe Dispenza, because at this point in time, I honestly feel like the only way that I'm going to get a job is if I manifest it, because the normal, logical route to finding a job is just not working for me.
I've been unemployed since the 20th of May. It's now the 10th of July. Okay, the 10th of July, still no job. I've been applying, and the only interview I got was for door-to-door sales. I have a biomedical science degree, by the way. And mind you, I turn up to this interview, and the guy that's interviewing me, lovely, lovely guy, he's asking me about why, you know, I left sales the first time. And I was telling him, oh, it's just because it's kind of monotonous sitting at, you know, a desk all day, every day. And he goes to me, mid-sentence, monotonous? What does that mean? What does that mean? What do you mean, what does that mean? You're interviewing me. If that doesn't tell you you're overqualified, I don't know what will. Where's my job at?
Hey everyone there in the UK. This is Darren here. I was made redundant just about a month ago after just about 6.5 years of working for the company I was with. Came unexpectedly, unfortunately, but I suppose, you know, that's life really. But of course, you know, now, you know, searching for jobs and everything, it's not easy to do. You know, I've been applying even just before I got made redundant, and you know, there's nothing there. You know, I've had a few rejections, but you know, now I've gone to the job centre here in the UK, and if anybody's gone down this route, they realise and know how rubbish the system is in the UK. You know, you get about £90 a week for job seekers allowance, which is a lot really. You know, how you're supposed to pay your mortgage, you know, food, you know, take care of your kids, and you know, be there for the family. You know, it's just a joke. And of course, you know, they want everything from you, you know, ID, proof, you know, proof of address, everything like that. And then, you know, of course, then the next thing is then universal credit. So, you know, I was named as a director of a company that my wife has, and, you know, we're not paying ourselves anything, but, you know, I've got an appointment coming up for universal credit, and not only do they want proof of ID, they want, you know, all records of, you know, the books for the business and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, hello, you know, we don't get any wages from it, you know. Yeah, they just seem to want so much information from you and pay you pennies, just pennies. You know, I was in Germany years ago, and I was unemployed there. Now in Germany, they actually pay back then 80% of your previous wage per month. You know, which is, you know, amazing. And not only that, they actually paid for me to do a complete university IT course, you know, in system integration. You know, so, yeah, I know the difference in the worlds, you know, how things are. You know, you don't want to come to the UK if you're looking at, you know, just being able to, you know, live off any benefits. I know a lot of people do live off benefits, but I can't believe, you know, how they actually manage. You know, definitely, you know, we as a family wouldn't be able to manage. So if anybody out there hears this, looking for somebody who's got over 10 years IT experience, predominantly in mobile device management, so VMware Workspace ONE, or anything like Premier services, server support, etc. I'm the man. I'm looking for a bloody job.
As you may already be aware, the job market here in the UK is absolutely terrible, and there are currently lots of people out of work who are still seeking employment. It is currently a very competitive market, and you have to do everything in your power to make yourself stand out from the hundreds of applicants that they get for each role. Here's a couple of things I recommend doing to help you stand out. One is embrace AI tools. Use a software like ChatGPT to overhaul your CV. It can completely refresh your CV for you and make it look as professional as possible with just a few clicks of a button at no cost to you. The AI tools can also help you write cover letters for each role that you apply for. And of course, each cover letter can be tailored to the specific role you are applying for. AI can also help with interview preparation, like you can do mock interviews on the AI tools. It can also help you identify skills that you need to develop or gaps in the market. It can prepare you with good questions to ask at interview, and it can also prepare you with questions you may be asked at interview. It can also teach you more about the industry you're trying to get into. Whether you're currently embracing AI or whether you're avoiding it like the plague, AI is here to stay, so you might as well use it to your advantage. These are only a couple of the potentials of the software. There's plenty more it can do. Another thing I recommend is, if you haven't already, create a LinkedIn profile. Spend some time creating the profile to accurately demonstrate your experience and work history, and then actively engage with as much as possible on LinkedIn. Engaging with the content means that you're more of an active profile, and when employers search your profile on LinkedIn and they see you're active, they're more likely to contact you. There is also a job search section on LinkedIn, so it is handy to use. I also recommend creating profiles on websites like Indeed or CV Library, as often recruiters will use these platforms to find candidates. And if you really are struggling for work, get down the recruitment agencies. Sign up to as many as possible. It may not be the work you are looking for, however, it will be work. You may have to work in a factory, you may have to work doing bin collections. You may not like it, it may not be pretty, but it will be an income. So yeah, there it is. There's a few things that you can do. If anybody else has any tips or tricks, leave them down below in the comments.
Job hunting harsh. Here's the hard reality that nobody tells you about. The reality is this. When you're unemployed, in the UK especially, it takes time to find a job. It is not going to be overnight. It is going to take a bit of time and a bit of effort. It will be almost like having a full-time job. But not to worry. In the next about 40 seconds, I'll give you 3 tips to help you along. First tip, because you're unemployed, you have free time. You can start to develop different skills to help you find a job. One good example you can develop on your own is project management and self-study to become a project manager. Second is you can try to look at freelancing. And if you have a hobby, sometimes you can go on Fiverr, for example, and freelance. And also, too, it gives you a chance to develop a hobby, and hobbies sometimes can become jobs. So, if you have any questions or comments, please leave it below. Thank you.
There's currently 1.3 million foreign nationals living in the UK claiming universal credit. That's from the DWP. And 759,000 of them are out of work claimants. Bye-bye then. Why is it not as simple as that? If you are a foreign national and you are not contributing to this economy, this society, leave. Now, I appreciate some people lose their jobs through no fault of their own. So I think a grace period should be given for those people to find other work. If they don't, bye-bye. Why is it not as simple as that? 174,000 of these people have refugee or humanitarian status. 213,000 of them have indefinite leave to remain. Why are we supporting them? We've got enough of our own problems. We had nurses using food banks, for goodness sake. The news is all quiet about that now. Has that just suddenly stopped? I doubt it. Look at the difference between July 2022, and this is from the ONS, and July 2025. That's a 40% increase. Who actually wants their tax money to be paying for these people? I imagine the vast majority of us do not. The nitty-gritty is if we made these people leave, it would save all of us taxpayers a bit of money.
I made the decision last year to leave the job that I'd been working in for 5 years. It was my first job straight out of uni, and I decided to leave because I was mentally and physically, I was not in a good place. This job was no longer serving me, and yeah, I needed to leave, simple as. And I decided that I wasn't going to find a new job straight away. I was going to take some time away from employment. I was going to work on myself. I was going to get to a better place mentally and enjoy living life for a bit. So my husband took some time off work. He took a sabbatical and we went and travelled for a little bit. We went on honeymoon. And I stepped away, and it has done absolute wonders for my mental health and for me. And I'm in such a better place now. So much so that a few months ago I started looking into the world of employment again. I started searching for jobs, applying for jobs. And let me tell you, the job market right now is a horrendous place to be. If I'd have known last year how long it would take me to get a job, would I have still left? I don't know. But it is just so rough at the moment, spending so much time and effort searching for jobs, going through the applications and the job descriptions, and then either filling stuff out manually or having to tweak your CV or your cover letter or supporting statement so it fits their job description, their person specification. It is so time consuming. And to then either be rejected, not even get an interview, or to then just be ghosted, to not hear anything back, it is absolutely soul destroying. And I mean, I'm applying for jobs that I think my experience, my skills fit. I'm applying for jobs outside of the career sector that I've been working in because I'd like to branch out. I'd like to try something new. But nobody wants to hire somebody that doesn't have the experience or the skills because nobody wants to train somebody. They just want somebody who can come in and know the job and just, cool, seamless. And I get that. But it's also incredibly frustrating because I want to try new things. I want to try something new, but people aren't willing to take a chance. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's been times in the last few months where I felt really alone and thought, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? And all those decisions I made at 18 at uni and courses, and I wouldn't make that now. I definitely wouldn't make those choices now as a 20-year-old woman. I'm a completely different person. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that if anybody else is experiencing this right now, going through this, you're not alone, and something will eventually come up, because I'm certain that everything happens for a reason, and a job will come along and everything will work out.
Right, I'm off this YouTube for now. I will see you all in the next video.
Hopefully soon.
Cheerio.